Coming at you live on this sunny side, summer Thursday. This is CHGO Bears Training Camp Edition. Visit sunnyside.shop. Use code HICHGO for 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. What's going on, Bears fans? Adam Hogue, Nicholas Moreno with you today. Joint practices between the Bears and Bengals. And thank you to Sunnyside for letting me know it's Thursday, because if it wasn't for that, I would have no idea that it was Thursday or really have any idea what day of the week it is, because that's how training camp goes. But we are excited to be here, Nick. And today was wet. It was rainy. I think ultimately the Bears made the right call to not have fans there, because I think they would have been miserable anyway. It was just pouring, but it was good. They still got the practice in outside, because you really need 2 fields when you have 180 players out there.
No doubt about it. And I was kind of questioning the weather people. Like I got to House Hall, there was a slight drizzle. I'm like, no way it's not going to rain. And then about, I don't know, 15 minutes in, then it's starting to rain sideways. You have the biggest umbrella known to man, and it came out to be clutch today. But yeah, it was a raining practice. You were focusing on the Bears defense. I focused on the Bears offense. So I think we had a good method to kind of tackle this joint practice today.
Yeah, it's always good having multiple bodies there. Because the practice ended up being closed to fans. Greg was not there today. And Carm, again, if you missed it, is on an ayahuasca Aaron Rodgers camp tour somewhere north of the Wisconsin border.
Yeah. Matt Verderam was at practice today. He said he was going to start making fun of Carm. We've been throwing shots at him ever since he'd been at, wherever he's at. So yeah, it makes sense.
It's a good decision by Matt. Also, CHGO Bears training camp coverage, as you know, is presented by Ray Chevrolet. Shop the Freedom to Save sales event all month long by visiting Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. Serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive. Also, shout out to our new diehard today, Brian, joining us here as a CHGO diehard. And Brian gets a free t-shirt. He gets 20% off all merch, 20% off all of our events, including our tailgates coming up. Believe it or not, very, very soon. Less than a month away from our first tailgate. Can't wait to see everybody out there. Those events are live at allchgo.com/events. You can buy your tickets now. And if you are a diehard, you get that 20% discount as always. And you will also get my Bears Things newsletter in your inbox tomorrow morning. I've already written that, submitted it, and it will be in your inbox at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Our Bears Things diehard newsletter. All right, let's jump into this thing. Nick, as we do with all practices, our best and worst. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, my best is just going to be Keenan Allen on this rainy Thursday practice. I think he had the best play for the offense, where it was just a fade route, back left corner. Caleb Williams puts the ball right where it needed to be, but Keenan Allen also did a good job of coming down with the football inbounds. He had a couple of slant routes on the practice. He had the most catches from Caleb Williams on the day by far. And actually, the Bears posted the play I was talking about, that touchdown left corner in the end. So you can check it out after, of course, you listen to us talk about the practice. And then my worst was actually the first play in 7-on-7 for Caleb Williams. I don't know if he just didn't see Pratt, the linebacker for the Bengals, in the middle of the field, but Caleb just threw the ball right to him. It was an interception to start things off. But I will say, since after that play happened, the Bears offense definitely got better from it. But it started off just like that. Sometimes you just got to get those plays out of your system early on. Caleb Williams definitely did that. First 7-on-7 pass, throws the interception in the middle of the field. But then we didn't see an interception, unlike maybe Joe Burrow, which he was doing some things over there against that Bears defense. You didn't see that for the rest of the practice from number 18.
Yeah. So as Nick alluded to off the top of the show, we kind of split up our eyes on the 2 different fields going on. One of the fields is always going to be, Bears offense versus Bengals defense. The other one's going to be Bengals offense versus Bears defense. So I was concentrating mostly on my guy, Joe Burrow. against the Bears defense. Really excited about that matchup today, and it was fun to watch. So for my best, though, I was going to give it to kind of the whole defense and especially the secondary, but the more and more I thought about it, because this, Matt Eberflus keeps talking about leveling up. I don't know that anybody's leveling up more right now than Jaylon Johnson, who just looks like an absolute shutdown corner. He's going up. Now, the only thing we missed a little bit today would have been nice if Jamar Chase was on the practice field, right?
Yes.
So he was there. He did travel with the Bengals. He was there, but obviously not practicing as his hold-in continues. That would have been an epic matchup, but we're still watching him go up against T. Higgins. Pretty good. And just the whole practice, it was mostly Joe Burrow trying to avoid Jaylon Johnson, not throwing that direction, except for 2 times. One is, it is practice, so you are going to sometimes force some things. They did try an end zone fade. Yeah. I mean, Jaylon Johnson obviously can't literally be a blanket, but as close as you can literally be to a blanket on a wide receiver, that's what Jaylon Johnson was. The ball just kind of like hit him in the back because it's almost like a wasted rep because it isn't going to work, and it didn't work. And then later on, he had a PBU too. Otherwise, I didn't even see the ball thrown his way most of the time, but I was watching him, and it was because he was just a shutdown corner, and it's very exciting to see Jaylon Johnson, after getting paid, take his game to another level here in camp. I would have to say he right now is the early favorite to be named defensive MVP of training camp when we hand those awards out.
Yep.
In a week or two. Worse for me, man. I hate seeing guys get hurt. And I feel bad because my worst yesterday was just even talking about JJ McCarthy up in Minnesota getting hurt, but I got to do it again today because these ones happened in front of us and they were really hard to watch. I don't know how you were feeling, Nick, but I was kind of getting emotional watching them get emotional. And it was especially Deontay Smith, the offensive tackle for the Bengals, who it was kind of a delayed reaction. He goes down, and I think he was slowly realizing how bad it was. And you could just hear him screaming, and it was really hard to watch. And they had to stop practice to get the cart on. Second time, it was about within 10 minutes, the Bengals had 2 guys go down with injuries that both required air casts and getting carted off. The first one was running back Chris Evans, who used to play at Michigan. So it just really, nobody wants to see that happen to either team. And honestly, with that rain coming down, I think the Bears are fortunate that they seem to get out of this practice relatively healthy. Terrell Smith did leave, but didn't seem like it was anything serious. He was just kind of walking away with Andre Tucker, the Bears trainer. But those Bengals injuries, Nick, were tough.
They were, and yeah, like you said, the offensive lineman, and as you hear him screaming, and then he's on the cart, you can see him visible, like tears coming down his face. Like, it's terrible. I think that was this is his 4th year in the league, so still very young and still trying to establish himself, but you never want to see that. And Kevin Byard was asked about that in his press conference. Regardless of the team, you don't want to see that. People have families, jobs to do, and when you see those injuries happen in this time of year, obviously you don't know what their trajectory is like for the rest of the season. So it is really, really unfortunate.
Yeah. All right. So I know a lot of people are asking, like, who won the day? Who would you say won the day? So since Nick was primarily watching the Bears offense versus the Bengals defense, we'll have him kind of recap that field first, and then I will recap what I saw from the Bears defense going up against Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense, and we'll make a conclusion on all this. So, Nick, what do you got in your notebook from Caleb Williams going up against the Bengals?
Yeah, just so we'll start kind of general here. I saw a lot of under center stuff, and I think it makes a lot of sense just because of the weather conditions that were happening. It was pretty heavy rain and consistent rain throughout the day, but there's a lot of under center stuff. I thought too, like, even though it's hard to judge the run game, you guys, in these practices, like, there were some legitimate holes for DeAndre Swift against this Bengals defense where if this was a live game, I would have expected DeAndre Swift to bounce out and make some pretty explosive plays in the run game. In terms of the passing game for Caleb Williams and the entire offense, there really weren't any I would consider explosives. I think the deepest pass completion that Williams had on the day was to an over route to Roma Dunze later on in the practice. but a lot of the stuff was pretty short. But we actually talked about this earlier. I think maybe it was last podcast, Adam. We're starting to see more of these slant concepts. Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore all had slants. One went for a touchdown for DJ Moore. And look, Rome Odunze, if he catches that, he caught this ball around midfield. I don't know if the safety had the right angle on him, and there was definitely potential for yards after the catch. But after Odunze caught it, you could see the safety kind of let up. They were kind of going to the next rep, but it would have been interesting to see Rome Odunze in the open field against that safety because he obviously still has speed. And then Keenan Allen was able to convert on a third down reception off of the slant route as well. So you're seeing a little bit more of that in the offense. But overall, a lot of short passes. There were a couple times where it was Darnell Wright got beat for a sack, and then Braxton Jones had a little bit of trouble with Hendrickson. And I get it. That's arguably the Bengals' best edge rusher. So overall, though, if you're looking like how that offense performed, Caleb, I think, was efficient. He definitely completed more passes than there were incompletions. There was only one drop pass that I had down. It was Keenan Allen on a little bubble route. But other than that, like the ball was getting to the receivers. It just wasn't necessarily the biggest gains.
Yeah, I thought it was good that the Bears got that experience against a 3-down front because right now they've been seeing the same stuff in practice every single day. It's the Bears defense and the Bills. They play the Bills, and that was a 4-down front. And the starters obviously didn't play against the Texans. So Cole Kmet talked today about that, just getting a different look for a day, and obviously in the game on Saturday. And honestly, I would have to venture to guess that that's a factor in Caleb and the starters playing Saturdays to get some of those game reps against a different type of defense. So I think that was good today. And you mentioned those slants. These guys that watch practice with me a lot know I tend to just yell things out sometimes. Not yell, like just blurt.
Put it out there, yeah.
So the reason why I bring that up, well, at one point today I did yell that somebody's head fell off.
that was pretty hilarious. There was just a helmet out there. I'm like, somebody's head fell off. Put that in my notes.
But last year, those of you who watch the show know I would frequently be yelling, what, Nick? Throw the ball. Yes. Throw the ball. Throw the ball. Throw the ball. Throw the ball. That counter is non-existent this year, which is a very, very good sign. I think we need to now count how many times I'm going slant, 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 because they're starting to add up, and they were today. So that signs of progress, I think, that we've gone from throw the ball to just slant.
I think a lot of Bears fans just got really excited because I feel like Bears fans have been wanting slants for the last decade. Yeah. They're here. The slants do exist in the Bears offense, everybody. So exciting times.
And let's hope they translate to the games too. But it has been a theme here recently, which is really, really good. Yeah, peeking over at that side of the field as I was doing every once in a while, because we were kind of sort of in the middles and we were standing together. It did seem like the Bears running game had some moments today that were good. And I know I said it yesterday, but
yeah, I didn't mention this.
There's something about Velus. I still don't know if he knows what he's doing, but there's something natural about him carrying the ball and hitting the holes. And there was one point today where he kind of lowered his shoulder on somebody, and that got Chad Morton, again, Greg brags, that's Chad Morton, very excited in the moment. So I like that.
Yeah, no, that was a good play. We both looked at each other after Velus dropped that shoulder. It's like, okay, Velus, there you go, getting a little bit more of a feel for what the running back position's like.
And real quickly, some news coming across before we hit our first break here, as Jordan Schultz is reporting that Bengals running back Chris Evans suffered a torn patellar tendon during today's practice. He will obviously be out for the year with that injury. So that explains why they put it in the air cast to kind of stabilize things. But that's tough news. And unfortunately, I think there'll probably be, if there hasn't already gotten out, something too on Deontay Smith, the offensive tackle, because his looked really bad. So I will also talk about what happened on the other field here in a minute. But first, let's talk about our guy, Ray Scarpelli and Ray CDJR, because shopping summertime savings, that's going on right now at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and you can save on the perfect new vehicle right now this August. Score new lower prices across their huge inventory during the Make This the Summer event. For a limited time, get 0% financing for 36 months on most of their new 2024 Jeep models, or they have over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. You might want to check those out. Let the amazing team at Ray CDJR help you during each step of your car shopping journey. With Ray's Price Promise, the numbers you're hearing now are the same prices you can expect to shop in-store and online. That's because Ray's Price Promise means no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees. Since they prioritize affordability for their customers, hurry into Ray CDJR today and shop one of Chicago's largest inventories. Then you can drive home with more money in your pocket than you'd expect. Pat Finley from the Sun-Times right now is in the market for a car. And I keep telling him, go to Ray. Go see Ray. He'll take care of you. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle like Patrick Finley, then you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, because they are the only team we recommend here at CHGO. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com, serving the community since 1963.
Let me tell you guys, if there's a surefire way to wake up feeling fresh after a night of drinking, it's with Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol. Pre-Alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking, and here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's the blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. You know, I first gave pre-alcohol a try when I was at a bachelor party in New Orleans. I drank it before a night of going out, and you know, I felt great the next morning. And you can do that when you have Z-Biotics. So whether you're going on vacations, weddings, birthdays, and reunions, there's so much going on. Get the most out of your summer plans by stocking up on pre-alcohol now. Go to zbiotics.com/CHGO Bears to get 15% off your first order when you use CHGO Bears at checkout. Pre-alcohol is backed with 100% money back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/CHGO Bears and use the code CHGO Bears at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, Z-Biotics, for sponsoring this episode and our good times.
We got a cool new feature you're going to see on the show with Cole Kmet coming up here momentarily. But before we get to that, I do want to tell you what I saw on the other field with Joe Burrow going up against the Bears defense. And a lot of it went like this. Check down incomplete, incomplete, short middle. After looking downfield, did throw a touchdown to number 80. I think that's Isovis, the kid from Princeton.
Okay.
I don't have the
Yosevas.
Yeah, I remember we talked about him in the draft a couple years ago. I did not. If there's one fail today, I didn't have a laminated card for the Bengals.
That's okay.
That would have been a lot of work, and I didn't have time for that. So, and then let's see, a team. Greg Stroman Jr. picked off Joe Burrow after the ball was tipped. Terrell Smith had a pass breakup on what was maybe the worst pass I've ever seen Joe Burrow throw. I think it just slipped out of his hands. I mean, it looked like a duck flying through the air. And I'm pretty sure at that point it was raining pretty hard. We saw a bunch of guys today struggling, hold on the football. The kick returners, Ian Wheeler had a drop today, and then he just fell down, in the kick return game. So that happened. And then I thought, Kevin Byard had the play of the day with a diving interception on Joe Burrow, where he just broke on the out route and slid and caught it. We've seen him do that a couple times in camp. I feel like, so really, yeah. And then I got a lot of Jaylon Johnson glue on number 80. There were a couple touchdowns sprinkled in there, and it's not like Joe Burrow didn't have completions or get his here and there, but I really do feel like the Bears defense won the day on Joe Burrow, and if anything, Tremaine Edmonds missed an opportunity to pick off Joe too in the 2-minute drill. Bears ended up holding them to a field goal, and the field goal was missed. So the Bears did win the 2-minute on that side thanks to a missed field goal, but it could have been put away a lot earlier had Tremaine Edmonds nabbed that interception. So really good day for the Bears defense over on that side of the fields.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of plays that I got to see, and the one I think I was most impressed with, again, you were talking about Jaylon Johnson. It looked like there was one route over the middle of the field where the receiver tight end did have a step on him, but it's that recovery speed and being able to locate the football and break up the pass. And then he just kind of stands, there is a certain confidence aura, I guess, even around Jaylon Johnson. And I think, Cole Kmet was kind of talking about that in his press conference, but he just kind of stood over like, yeah, I just made that play because I'm a top 5 corner. Like, that's just what Jaylon Johnson does. He's been so consistent in this camp. It doesn't matter what, and again, the Bears have some receivers now, and the Bengals come to town with some guys as well, but Jaylon Johnson, man, continues to impress. And real quickly, Adam, so we're going to have from Pro Football Network, Jay Morrison, come on the show tomorrow. He actually logged all the passes for Joe Burrow in this practice, and he had him for 15 for 32 with 3 interceptions. 2 of his passes were batted down at the line of scrimmage. I know we saw that too from Javon Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter had another.
Yep. And then several were dropped. So, the Bears did not have the case of the drop. Again, Keenan Allen had 1 drop. That's all I had. And I know even Joe Burrow was quoted in his story like it was tough to throw the football. Like Caleb was in the same conditions, but he was able to get the ball out fine. It didn't look like there was many issues with the weather and how they were operating. So it's good to see from Caleb Williams that he was able to kind of handle these conditions pretty well.
Well, I'm glad Jay's charting backs up what I saw with my eyes, because I wasn't charting every single pass, but I was writing down a lot of notes, and it was definitely trending towards the Bears. I will say the one receiver that was causing them some issues, although both times I'm pretty sure it was on backups. But that was Trent Irwin, the veteran out of Stanford, who's been there for a minute. He did catch a couple touchdowns in the red zone period, and one of them came against who was it? Who's wearing 33 on the defense these days?
Ooh, 33 on the defense, and I have my roster right here. I guess it's in. Ro Torrance, the DB.
Oh yeah, he's a new guy.
Yeah.
That's why he's not on my card, because I haven't updated it. He didn't make the update.
That's okay. I mean,
these things don't update like our computers do. When you're just sleeping and they have a mind of their own.
Very reliable though. Love the laminated sheet there, Adam.
Yeah. And then the other one, I know Elijah Hicks was in coverage, which technically right now I think he's running with the 1. So that one was probably against the 1s. But all in all, a great day for the Bears defense, I thought. And so on our field, I'm giving the Bears the W. How about you on your field?
I would give them the W. Yeah, I would say overall, again, not big plays from the offense, but I think they were efficient. Like Caleb did not hold the ball for a long time, got the ball out when he needed to. There was one play too on a boot action rollout where Caleb didn't have anybody open, but he pump faked. The linebacker bid on that pump fake. He tried to see, like, who's he throwing it to? Caleb's like, okay, I'll take these about 7 yards off the left sideline. So there were some good things, and it was not an ideal day to throw the ball downfield, but they did what they had to do in today's practice.
All right. Well, we got a lot of people watching right now. So if you happen to be new, here's what you do. You hit that subscribe button. We're here every single day. We're breaking down practice when it's over. Over 1,500 people watching here right now. Tomorrow, Nick and Braggs are going to have you covered with our first game preview episode of the 2024 season. As I mentioned, Jay Morrison, who covers the Bengals, will join the show, and they'll break everything down. We got to get our preseason reps too, right, Nick? So we'll get that preview episode going tomorrow, and then pre and post on Saturday, 11 a.m. pregame show. And we're on the second the game ends with a post-game show. We will recap everything that Caleb does, and Nick will be at Soldier Field reporting live. Now, we also, once the game's over, we'll get back in the lab with our guy Cole Kmet and record our second episode of the 85 with Cole Kmet. And the first one was great. Howard Ankin, one of the outstanding sponsors of that program. And as part of Howard Ankin and Cole Kmet coming on board, we're also going to have a short little recap we do with Cole every single week that we're going to bring here to CHGO Bears, and it's separate from the 85. So we should put a little bow on last week before we move ahead to the Bengals. So here is that game recap presented by Ankin Law. This week's game recap powered by Ankin Law. Injury law made personal. They're here to help. Visit ankinlaw.com to learn more. Adam Hogue with Cole Kmet. First preseason game, at least that you guys played in, the starters played in the books. I guess we got to start with Caleb. What was the big takeaway from the rookie's first game?
He's good at football. No, it was really cool to see. I thought he operated really well. Did a good job in the huddle, cadence at the line, IDing fronts, all those type of things, and just did a good job of doing him. And saw some really cool things with what he's able to do with his arm and his legs. And I thought it was a good first outing for him. And I know the next time he goes out there is definitely going to want to put 6 up on the board. But I thought overall a really positive day for him, and it was cool to see him do his thing out there. It was really sweet.
The deeper throw to you was obviously one of the highlights. Take us through that play.
Yeah, I mean, just a normal movement, naked type play off of run action, and he did a good job at the play fake and that backer flow, and I was able to just run right past the backer and keep my corner angle high and flatten it off against the safety there. And I didn't see that pump fake till after the game, but that was really cool to see. And then just throws an absolute dart on the run, and those are the type of things of why he was picked number 1 overall. So he can do some really cool stuff like that with his arm and legs, and just a really special throw down the sideline.
I made a prediction before the game that I actually thought things might look smoother in this preseason game against the Bills than maybe it has on a day-to-day basis in practice. Sure. Really a credit to your defense in that, not only the talent level, but also the complexity of things they've been throwing you guys in practice versus what you normally see in a preseason game. Did you feel like that kind of played out that way, and just, you guys have been practices have been so hard that it was maybe easier for everybody once you got out there in the actual game?
Yeah, I definitely felt like that. Coaches made practice pretty hard on us offensively, and obviously that unit's been together for a good amount of time now, going back to last year, and we're all pretty new offensively. So, it's been hard on us with the operation and things. I think you guys have seen that with some of the false starts we've had here and there. But I think overall being able to put it together for the preseason game was a big positive. And I think we're going against a top defensive unit in practice every day. So I think that's only going to make us better. Usually the way I've done camps before is you got the one offense going against two defense going against the one, just things like that. But Flus hasn't done that this year, and I think that's been a real positive for everybody, and we're just getting better and better every day by doing that. So I thought you kind of saw that come out there on the preseason game. You never really know how it's going to look before you get out there and actually do it, but I thought overall a positive day for both sides of the ball.
Well, this is just a snippet of what you hear each and every week on the 85 with Cole Kmet. Make sure you go check out the brand new YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, the 85 with Cole Kmet. We go in-depth, hear interviews with Cole and his teammates. It's great stuff. And we are one preseason game in the books. I keep saying that. It's really 2, but it feels like 1 because the Hall of Fame game, I don't know if
it feels like 10.
Okay, it feels like 10.
It feels like 10.
2 more to go. Regardless, we're here every week talking about it. Thanks to Cole Kmet. Powered by Ankin Law. Injury law made personal. They're here to help. Visit ankinlaw.com to learn more. So I guess that means preseason game number 11 coming up Saturday against the Bengals. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that little snippet from the 85. In the meantime, hopefully the sun is back out Saturday and we can put our shady rays back on our faces because today we didn't need them with all that rain. But you can get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames, crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of styles to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably have a style in your favorite team's colors. Seriously, I if you guys watched the show last week, I went on shadyrays.com. I used our code CHGO and I got a great discount and I picked up 3 new pairs. And you're going through the website. They got, if you need something for golf, if you need something for hiking, if you're a runner, cycling, if you just need a stylish pair because you just want something nice to wear because you're going outside, they have everything that you possibly need. And you use our code. This is exclusive for our listeners, and Shady Rays is going to give you the best deal of the season. Use that code CHGO. Head to shadyrays.com. That code CHGO will get you 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Gotta check out Shady Rays, you guys. And Adam, did you know it's getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles? That's something we can all get behind for the health of the planet and for the well-being for all of us who share it.
That is right, Nick. And the electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs. And as we all move with confidence towards an electric tomorrow, whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
So, Adam, what should business owners do?
They should go to ComEd.com/clean. You can learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Now, did I hear you right? Did you say ComEd.com/clean?
That is the correct URL. Go now. See how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come. All right. Couple different ways we can go here. I know we want to talk about the Matt Judon rumors. We will get to that in a second, but there's a certain player that seems to get talked a lot about by the fans and media for good reason. He got signed to a pretty decent contract last year to start at right guard, and availability has been an issue for him, both off-season and in season, and in training camp this year. And that is, of course, Nate Davis, who very clearly received the message from Matt Eberflus, whether directly behind the scenes, I don't know, but through the media, Matt Eberflus made it clear that availability matters and that, yes, you can lose your job due to injury. And suddenly this week, Nate Davis has been back. And he's been practicing, and he got through practice again today in pads against the Bengals, and he spoke, I believe, for the first time in training camp, right, Nick?
Yeah, I think the last time, from what was being said in the media room, last time he said the podium was like last October. So it's been a while for Nate Davis. So it was actually surprising even seeing him up there because we just don't see him very often.
And that is exactly why we want you guys to hear the press conference in full. The questions were tough. The media was not letting them off the hook. The reporters in there, a lot of tough questions. And I think this is about 5 to 6 minutes or so, but I think you'll hear from his answers. The answers are relatively short. Questions kept coming. And here is Nate Davis today at House Hall.
Yeah, no, it feels great. It's cool being out there with the guys, getting the reps and just, building that team camaraderie.
How do you feel physically? Do you feel close to 100%? Right?
Yeah, no, I feel good. Just taking it day by day.
Matt Eberflus referred to it as a competition at the right guard position. Do you look at it as you're competing for that job?
My mentality is to take the reps as they come, take it day by day.
Can you take us back to, we saw you go to practice, there was that Sunday, so not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. It looked like you went through some individual stuff and then went over to the training room. Did you feel yourself was there a setback at that point?
You said when?
It's not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before when Flu said there was some issue that you kind of had to start back over from ground, from the baseline. What happened?
Yeah, just a little tweak. That was really it.
How has it been just like navigating soft tissue stuff, like where it feels like stop-start on different days? Like how do you battle through that?
Support system I have from the coaches, my teammates, and once again, just taking it day by day. So it's been good.
What's been your frustration level with, just not being able to be consistently in the lineup since you've been here? You come over, significant free agent signing that just hasn't been able to be steadily on the field, on the practice field. What's the frustration like with that?
Definitely frustrated. But once again, support staff that's here, my teammates, stuff like that, has really helped me out. I usually leave it like that.
Coach Flus rarely speaks in terms of injuries about what that could or could not mean for a starting position or player time. He did speak to that as it alluded to you. Did you hear that? Did you find any type of motivation or urgency to get back?
No, I didn't hear that. I don't really pay attention to social media.
Nate, obviously, when you signed a big contract as you did, there's heightened expectations from the outside, from fans who want to see certain things. How have you handled kind of the pressure to perform, also balancing it with the frustrations of the injuries and just the collective expectations that come in your plate here?
Yeah, I mean, my focus is just on the building, on the players and, our coaching staff and whatever they ask me to do. Like I said, I really don't pay attention to the outside world, just what's happening right in front of me in this building.
Have you felt support from the coaching staff and from the front office that, your job is safe here?
Once again, my mentality is to take it day by day. I felt support from coaching staff. I felt support from players. So it's been awesome that way.
What's your impressions been of Caleb Williams so far?
Oh, he's been awesome. Definitely gifted, leader. Everything you can ask for from a quarterback, from a starting quarterback.
Are you looking forward to this weekend? If Flute said starters are going to play, for you to have a chance to get back in at right guard with the starting line? Like, what are you hoping to take away from that?
Just to get live reps. At the end of the day, it's whatever coach asks us to do, and just be available for that.
And after all you've been through in the year and a half with the Bears, how much of the challenge of reestablishing yourself and establishing some continuity and staying healthy, how much of that is mental at this point?
How much of it is what?
How much of it is mental? How much do you need to be mentally? How important is it to be mentally strong and maintain that? Just to get to a point where you can just be in there all the time.
Yeah, I mean, just paying attention, staying active, continuing to communicate with the players. So it's really just like you said, mentally just staying engaged. That's the biggest thing.
You mentioned the support that you've received from the coaches, teammates, and your other support system, I guess. What does that support look like? How are they helping you?
Yeah, just be able to stay in my ear. Continue to just help guide me. Just stay positive no matter what. Like I said, I could just lean on those guys, so it's been cool.
What do you feel like you can accomplish this year individually? What do you hope to go out there and prove?
Just to show the world, the type of player I really am, especially when I'm healthy. When the mind's right, the body's good. I know I'm, a special player, so I'm just excited to showcase that.
What was the joint practice like in reps against the Bengals?
It was good today. A lot of good competition. I thought, we practiced pretty well. Got some good reps, and definitely take a lot from that and continue to learn.
How big of an achievement, just like being able to stack multiple days of practice together for you? How big of an achievement does that feel?
It's something that I've done throughout my career, so I can't really say it's an achievement. I'm just happy to be back out with the guys.
You said you feel like when your mind is right, your body's good. If it's anybody, do you feel like your mind is right and your body's good right now?
I do. Yeah, I feel great.
Nate, there's a perception on the outside that you don't like to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
Not at all. Like I said, I've been in this league for a long time. I don't think I'll be able to do what I did without practicing. Stuff happens, so you just got to continue to move on.
There it is, Nate Davis at House Hall today. I counted 21 questions in there in about 5.5 minutes. Good job by the reporters in the room, and shout out specifically to Courtney Cronin and Herb Howard, and that's Peggy, the legend, Peggy Kaczynski at the end, coming in with, I think it's a fair question at this point, because quite frankly, it's been reported. I haven't heard this personally, but it has been reported that even people in Tennessee, where he came from, that he had a reputation that he didn't like to practice. So I think at this point, it's a fair question by Peggy there. And I understand his answer too. So it's tough, Nick, man. I got to say, at one point in this offseason, I remember having a conversation about giving Nate Davis the benefit of the doubt and possibly in terms of upside, having a Robert Quinn-like second season with the Bears. People don't really remember, like Robert Quinn came in here. It was the COVID year. It was kind of a last-second decision to sign here. He didn't
Flip the
provide
coin, didn't he? Didn't he flip
yeah,
a
there was
coin?
coin, yeah, which is still to this day is debated whether or not that was real or not. But what I do know is he had a tough time acclimating to the area and getting his family here. And there was a bunch of things kind of behind the scenes, and it led to a very quiet, all those factors, very quiet first season with the Bears. And then the second off season, he was able to settle in a little bit more. And then he broke Richard Dent's sack record. So, you know, I'm not saying like that ceiling was or is a possibility for Nate Davis, but it did seem like for everything he went through last year, you give him the benefit of the doubt of, well, maybe things will go better this time. And yet there's still some OTAs he's not there. Hurt in training camp. You got the comments from Matt Eberflus that were said. They're clearly, there's some motivation tactics going on here. And we're just getting to the point where I understand the frustration from the fans. I understand the frustration from Flus talking about him in the press conferences, because it's just, when is this all going to come together? So maybe, I don't know, maybe this is where it's going to click, Nick, because he's been out there. I haven't noticed any major blunders, but he's been out there this week.
Yeah, and he did call himself, when his mind and body are right, he can be a special player. Those were his words exactly from this press conference. So there is still a little that confidence that you need to have in this league if you're going to be successful in it. I thought there were also like some notable, like how he answered some of the questions when it was brought up that it was still a competition. His answer to that question is, my mentality is to take the reps as they come and take it day by day. Is that Davis kind of admitting like, yes, I am in this competition. I kind of know this, and that's my mentality is going to be, you know, get out there in the practice field, kind of earn it, you know, again, day by day, like you said. And then the question that Herb Howard brought up of Matt Eberflus sending a message to the media, how Nate responded to it was that he's not on social media. Well, Herb didn't bring up social media. Yeah. It's through the media, through the press conference. So I think one way or another, Nate somehow, some way did hear, maybe through somebody else, or maybe he just listened to it, you know, directly, that press conference from Matt Eberflus, because even though I don't think it was, I don't know, did Matt Eberflus directly say Nate Davis? I don't think he did, but we all assume like, ooh, it's got to be about him.
The question was about Nate.
Yeah.
So it was very clear. And yeah, that answer from Nate. Look, I want to give him I kind of want to give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt, because I have empathy for the fact that not every athlete enjoys talking in front of a microphone, being at that podium. There's lights on you. It can be a little intimidating, and that's all that has to be factored in. And it kind of, quite frankly, puts them at a disadvantage, those players, from a PR perspective, with the fan base who like to hear from these guys, and they love to hear, you know, DJ Moore up there joking around about Popeyes, and Jaylon Johnson saying it's bullshit he didn't make the top 100. Like, they love hearing all this stuff. They love hearing Cole Kmet's everything, which is why we have him here at CHGO, damn it. Yep. And so when there's a player that isn't quite as comfortable, it kind of puts them at a disadvantage. That being said, there were some answers in here that I didn't really love to hear, and that was one of them. Like, okay, 99.9% chance he heard those comments. And on the 0.1 or whatever
it is
that he didn't hear it, that's on his people then. Like, that's which I'm telling you, he would have heard about it, because, like, you know, agents, they protect their clients from social media, but they also let them know what they need to know when things are being said. And that would be an example of something that he should know about. And I'm sure he did. So, and that's fine, but you could, I don't know, trying to act like you didn't hear it is tough. Yeah. And then in terms of the competition, like, I'm not going to nitpick his answer, but you can also say, yeah, It's competition. I'm here to,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm ready to go win it. Something like that. It was a tough pressure.
It's a tough situation because obviously he knows going into this what is, I think, even though he again claims he's not on social media, like he hasn't been at practice consistently, and he is being paid 3 years, $30 million. He was a big free agent signing for Ryan Poles and this Bears team, so there are expectations. And has Nate Davis performed or even been available enough to be in position to meet those expectations? Probably not at this point. So it's a tough place to be in. You just come out of a joint practice with the Cincinnati Bengals, raining all the time, and then knowing that you're speaking to the media after this. It's like subconsciously, I think that's on your mind. Like, I don't know how it isn't. Like, obviously, you need to be focused on what you're doing on the football field, but yeah, we haven't seen him since last October in that setting. So this is his first time being there, and all these different questions that are circulating around him. It makes sense why he would be uncomfortable, why there would be 20 plus questions in just over 5 minutes. He's going to be a little short-winded on those.
I think it was Potsy had a good question for Flus today, because I'd love to say that it's very telling that they plugged him right back in there at right guard, now that he's back. But the problem is Ryan Bates is out now.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to known if those guys are both healthy, who would be in with the first team.
Honestly, just knowing what we know too, that Ryan Bates is considered one of the leaders or the leader in that offensive line room. He's been the one who's been more consistently at that spot and just been available. Yeah, it would have been really interesting to see who would be playing there, both healthy, no restrictions on both guys. Like, it's a toss. Maybe it's a coin flip.
Because remember, Shane Waldron did say when healthy, Nate Davis would be in there. But that was before Flus said what he said about, yeah, you can lose your job to injury. And that went on. He had Nate Davis had the setback and all this stuff. So that would have been interesting. By the way, somewhat significant news, I thought, that was just slid in there, that Flus called Ryan Bates week to week now.
Yeah.
So, of course, Nate Davis was week to week a couple weeks ago or last week. I don't even remember now.
True. Yeah.
And all of a sudden he was back because his head coach called him out.
We don't know do we know the injury for Bates? I don't remember hearing any injury designation for him, but hopefully, yeah, week to week is obviously not day to day, but maybe he will be back. I don't know, next week. Who knows? We don't know.
And so by the way, I think everybody here hopes Nate Davis becomes available and stays available and plays well and lives up to that contract. Like that, I know he's kind of taking a beating from the media and the fans too, but I hope he knows that too. I was trying to think of a comp, Nick, actually a little bit earlier, of a player that was like, I guess it is an election year. We can use like approval ratings. Like a player whose approval rating was this low because of A, availability, and B, the answers given in press conferences and not really. And I think I have the name. But the comp is what I was looking for, a comp that turned it around, that ended up digging out of that and playing pretty well. And my comp is Kyle Fuller.
Oh, okay,
because
yeah.
People forget Kyle Fuller, and now there was a little bit different situation, first round draft pick versus a nice free agent signing, but it's sort of the same because there's expectations that come with both. And Kyle was dealing with that knee injury, right? And there was confusion, and there was like the team kind of thought he could be out there, and he didn't think he could be out there. And then Vic Fangio kind of called him out and was pretty blunt with some of the comments he was making. So you have that end of it with the coaches, and then you sort of had the Kyle Fuller interviews where he, very similar to Nate Davis, would be soft-spoken and really quick with his answers and almost sort of fighting back at the same time. And then he sort of exploded. And, after sitting out that most of that season and was really good from that point on while he was with the Bears. So that's the only one I could think of off the top of my head, but it would be a decent comp if Nate Davis were to kind of turn this around and play and have a good year.
Yeah, look, I think we're seeing a little bit of polarizing views of how Nate Davis right now, even in the comments, Adam. I think ultimately you want Nate Davis to be healthy, available, and on the football field, because I think even towards the back half of the season, he was playing better than what he did in the beginning of the season. They brought him in here for a reason. Like, he fits this scheme, he can get out in space. That's what the Bears want to do with this offense. And if you don't have Nate Davis and you're going with Ryan Bates as your starter just because Nate can't play or you can't rely on him, then your depth immediately gets injured there. Do you want to see Bill Murray out there on Sundays? I don't think so. Even though it's a good story, you don't want to see that with Caleb Williams right now next to Coleman Shelton. That's just a completely different interior offensive line. So Nate Davis having a resurgence in himself this season would be good for the Bears offensive line ultimately. That's what needs to happen. He still believes he can do that. Like, I get people are going to have their view of him right now, but if he goes out there and performs on the football field, keeps Caleb Williams upright, you're going to have a completely different perception of Nate Davis going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge because it's the same thing at left guard too, right? Which we've been talking about, Tevin Jenkins, and he's been very quietly been quiet, which I think is a good thing. He's been out there, he's been looking good, he's been staying out there, and maybe he can earn that bye week extension that seems to potentially be on the table. Right. And I love hearing stuff like that. All right. So that's sort of your update with the O-line. Again, Nate Davis back. Hopefully stays back. Ryan Bates now is the one who's week to week, that spot. And sort of in the middle of all this, Coleman Shelton continues to play center. I think he's doing a pretty decent job.
Yeah.
I personally prefer his snaps to Ryan Bates' snaps, which may be a reason why Ryan Bates hasn't played that much center. But if they can get them all healthy, yes, they have a pretty decent amount of depth at the O-line, and it might look a lot better. All right. A lot of people have been in the comments, too, asking why people aren't hitting the like button. And I appreciate that because we got a lot of people watching tonight, and you should hit the like button. It's super easy. You just do a thumbs up, and then you get a like, or we get a like, and then the show grows, which is the point. Yeah. You're just helping us out, and it's free. It's the best part is it's free.
Yeah. Super easy. Come on.
And again, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. Come join us. Our week does not end. Tomorrow, preview show, Saturday. Ooh, we flew past 59,000 subscribers. I love it. Keep that going. We're going to hit 60 way before week 1, I think. Keep that going. Thank you to all the love and support here at CHGO. All right. Let's talk about Matt Judon because there were some interesting nuggets on, and I think pretty much now confirmed that the Bears were in on this. The best insight, quite frankly, came from Scott Pioli, who was here at House Hall yesterday and was hanging out with Ryan Poles and went on NFL Network this morning and was like, yeah, I was with them the whole time.
Perfect timing.
They were trying to get this trade done with the Falcons, and ultimately what it came down to was the contract is what it sounds like. So it sounds like the Falcons, who traded a 3rd-round pick for Matthew Judon from the Patriots, that the Bears were okay with that compensation to also give up for him, but it really came down to the money because these things come with a contract, just like when the Bears traded for Montez Sweat. You get the deal done, then you knock out the contract. And it sounded like that's whether it's the length, which I would certainly imagine you're talking about a 32-year-old pass rusher, how many years you want to give him, or the money makes sense. And I think that you can both appreciate, Nick, how the Bears were in on him, trying to get something done, but also, and we've seen this over and over again, we've talked about this endlessly with Ryan Poles, and I respect it, they have limits. And they're not sitting there like Joe Shane on free agency day on Hard Knocks. We'll just bump this up a little bit. We'll bump this up to get done. They're pretty disciplined in sticking to what the value is that they think on these guys. And in this case, Matthew Judon will not be a Bear. He will be a Falcon.
He will be a Falcon, but again, it does show, like we've all been talking about this, the Bears wanting to get a second edge rusher who can make an impact opposite of Montez Sweat. If I'm DeMarcus Walker though, Adam, and I'm like consistently seeing like the Bears are in on they were in on Matthew Judon. They wanted him. 3rd round pick. They were right up there with the Falcons. Like that's on you to kind of prove to the staff that you can be that next guy, because clearly at this point they think they could still upgrade. And like again, DeMarcus Walker signed a 3-year deal too, and he hasn't been as productive. So I think, you know, there is that want to upgrade the position. If you're DeMarcus Walker, if you're Austin Booker, you need to prove that you can be someone that can make an impact opposite of Sweat, because the Bears are looking. I don't know what, again, the options right now after Judon, probably not the greatest, but like there's room for improvement opposite of Montez Sweat, and Ryan Poles is going to have his limits, but he's willing to make moves that he thinks are going to make this football team better. So I'm seeing, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think I honestly think the guy who maybe should be paying more attention to it, or you know, being a little bit more nervous about it, is actually Dominique Robinson.
That too.
Because I got to say, you know, DeMarcus, I think Walker understands his role on this team, and that he's kind of this hybrid inside outside guy. And I honestly, sure, his reps would probably go down a little bit if you bring in a guy like Matthew Judon or another, you know, veteran edge rusher, but I still think he sort of still be in that same role. And he's obviously one of the leaders on defense and somebody they respect a lot. So I'm not sure he would take that as personally, but Dominique Robinson, they do something like that, he might not make the team.
No, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And Austin Booker's fine. You know, he's going to be a developmental rookie who hopefully they can get in sub packages and
situationally,
you know. And the question there, I think, is if they added a guy, would he be somebody who sometimes ends up inactive on game day just because of the numbers? But we're still a few weeks away from seeing that. So keep an eye out. There's other guys that the Bears look into. Someone in the comments brought up Trey Hendrickson. Since the Bengals are in town, there's been some conflicting things there, and I like that player a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be. How old is Trey Hendrickson these days?
He's got to be in his 30s, right? I mean, he's probably up there.
Let's see. I think I have the roster up right here.
29.
Okay. So 3 years younger than Judon, though.
Yeah.
And he'd probably cost more at this point.
I mean, he's a good player. Like,
yeah, you think
Braxton Jones has made improvements, but there are a couple of players like they actually put the Bengals. They were tweeting during the practice. That's a strike on them. But it almost looked like Hendrickson, like I don't think he actually smacked Caleb's helmet, but like the show, like, yeah, I got the sack and was close. I'm like trying to zoom in on it. Like, did you touch Caleb? I don't think if he did, it may have caused a problem, but yeah, he can get around the edge and can definitely rush the passer. And 17.5 sacks last year. He could definitely do it.
Yeah. And I agree with a lot of people in the comments. I'd be surprised if the Bengals actually move on from Hendrickson. But so we'll just something to monitor. Just the fact that the Bears were interested in Judon is news and is sort of a tip. But the fact that they're not desperate, I also think is notable, and which has always been sort of my theory, is that they're comfortable with what they're trying to develop here and what they have. And it's not the end of the world if they have to go into the season and see some of this play out for itself. You can always hit the trade market at the deadline, which we've seen Ryan Poles do now, and maybe he'll do it again. But that was definitely interesting. I know one thing that Braggs wanted us to bring to the table too, with the practice getting canceled for fans today. At least, you know, the fan access to practice today was canceled, I should say. They did something cool, and anybody who had a ticket for today actually can now come Monday or Tuesday or both to those practices. So kind of making up for the fact that this was This was kind of the marquee practice
Mm-hmm.
of training camp, going up against the Bengals, having Joe Burrow there. Granted, the tickets are free, so it's not like, people lost money on it, but I think it is a nice gesture that the Bears added, because today was supposed to be the last open practice. Like, they're supposed to be shutting things down, and so they're going to keep things open and let fans come Monday and Tuesday, which is pretty cool. Now, thinking off the top of my head, Monday, coming off the off day, would most likely be a non-padded practice.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're one of those fans that could come Monday or Tuesday, I do not know for sure if Tuesday's pad, so don't quote me on it, but Monday won't be. I do know that.
Yeah. There's a higher chance of it being a pad.
It's also a short week, so that
True.
thing. But if they're going to have one padded practice this week, you'd think it'd be on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. So if you have Tuesday off and you got those tickets, that might be the day to check out Hallis Hall. It is a nice gesture, though, because, again, it's very limited, these practices. Not everybody can get in. And to see that 2 days are now opening up in place of, this day being closed to the public, nice gesture. Again, these Bears fans, very devoted to this team. There's a lot of hype around this team, and you get a chance to come see your Bears practice. Definitely, take advantage of that opportunity if you can.
Even enough to get Gary Ross to drop a super chat about it.
Whoa.
How about that? Yeah, Gary going $4.99. Best of the day. Bears offering fans who had tickets today to come to open practice next week. Fans have the option to come to Monday or Tuesday or both. Bear down.
Hell yeah.
And speaking of supers, we should get through the rest of these and close out tonight's show. Carrie jumping in with $20 says, let's go. Spill on the Bengals and how we dominated. Bear down. Yeah, it was a good day for the Bears.
Bears win. Bears win the day.
Clayton Ferguson, $10. And
thank you, Clayton.
Another $10 with an actual comment on this one. First time super, long time listener. We appreciate it, Clayton. Looking forward to London. Going to be on my honeymoon. Hopefully sneaking a quick hello with the CHGO boys.
That's awesome.
Definitely can. We'll keep you posted on our plans, and we will love to see as many fans as possible while we're out there. And of course, you can go to truefantravel.com and still sign up for the individual events if you'd like to. Those are available. You can kind of customize your own packages. Gritty, $10. Some funds for a towel to dry out. Yeah, you've been a nice towel. Sorry, only enough for one though. Good thing Braggs wasn't there and it was just you two. LOL. Thanks for the quick breakdowns as soon as practice was over.
You got it, Gritty. Hey, Amazon's got some bundle deals for towels, so we can make that $10 go a long way.
Sangray Kim, $5. It seems like Rome hasn't been able to get consistent separation with him being a bigger receiver. Do you guys agree with this assessment?
No, I do not. I mean, they showed one of his routes on Hard Knocks where it was a 1-2-3 type of move, and I don't know who the DB was on the play, but he went one way and Rome went the other way. He can run routes, man.
Yeah, I think Keenan Allen saying that Rome Odunze is farther along than he was as a rookie and he said it twice now, is very telling and a very good sign, because you're talking about one of the best route runners in football saying that. Michael Renew, $4.99. You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? A perfect quarterback.
What is this concept that you speak of? Crazy.
It is exciting. Clayton Stocker, $10. If Velus Jones can be good enough to be RB4 and wide receiver 6, do you think the Bears would think about keeping 5 wide receivers and 5 running backs, with 1 running back being Velus, 1 being Kari, which could open up an extra D end or whatever? That is confusing and way too many numbers.
I could open up an extra DN if Bayless is good. Potentially, I guess. I mean, I think 6 wide receivers end up making this team. That's usually where it kind of ends up at.
I still think you could see 5 running backs and 6 wide receivers. If Velus is sort of both.
Yeah. That can definitely work. So maybe that does open up a spot for a DN.
Because really, he's the special teamer that can contribute in multiple areas on offense. Jeremiah Birth, $5. Just wanted to say that you guys keep up the good work, and I love being a diehard. Thank you, Jeremiah.
We love you,
having
Jeremiah.
you. Love having you. And KR Shy Sports, $1.99. Day to day. Tomato. I'm supposed to say tomato.
Tomato.
And Flavio.
Super sticker.
$2.99.
So, can you guys see the super sticker? We can't see the super sticker. Like, that's a thing you can do on YouTube, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, so it shows up in the comments?
Maybe. Appreciate the super sticker, Flavio B.
So I just looked it up. It looks like a bird giving us thumbs up. But we can't see it on StreamYard, unfortunately.
Hey, Steven, since you're here, stay on for a second, because
Okay.
I don't know if Bragg sent you 15 text messages about this like he did to me last night. But apparently when he left my house yesterday where he did the show, he, instead of going home like he said he was, played golf.
Yeah.
He went to the golf course. And while I went off to my practice and had more work to do after that, was getting basically hole by hole, play by play of what he was scoring on all these holes. Now, this is the course that I live next to, so I know each and every one of these holes like the back of my hand, and know where he's possibly. And I did say, like, he said he parred number 10. I said, you're gonna triple bogey 11, and he did. Now, I don't know if that's because I called him out before he actually played the hole and he actually, put a 7 down. But the guy claims he shot an 88.
Yeah, I did see a scorecard. So he actually came out by where I live. We had a CHGO Cubs event over here in Hickory Hills yesterday, and he brought his scorecard with me into the bar, and he showed me. It said 88. He called me on the way there too to talk about how he was having like a perfect day on the golf course.
Yeah,
I wasn't with him. I couldn't see it, but he pretty stoked about it. I can say that much.
It's really interesting how he plays so well when we're not with him. But
I played with him before he got injured, and he beat me. He did beat me.
What was his score?
He is not as he shot a 90, and it was at Silver Lake in Orland Park. I was with him. I could vouch.
You could vouch it.
Yeah,
because I've never seen him break 100. That's why it's tough for me to believe he shot 88. Like, White Deer Run is not an easy course.
Yeah, I mean, I would be terrible at that course because it's surrounded by houses, and that is like the biggest mental handicap for me. I'm just so scared I'm going to hit a house, so I just choke up and I just hit it real short.
He claims he played the blues too, which I've never even played the blues at White Deer Run. That's dumb. Don't do that. You're just.
He has gotten better. He has gotten, because I played with him earlier in the year, like right when it got warm enough to golf, and he was terrible that day. But he's gotten substantially better. Maybe it was just a bad day the first time, or maybe it was a good day this other time. I don't know.
I did tell him the mistake he made on the scorecard was trying to claim that he parred the hole that I live on, because it is the hardest hole. It is super long, and as many times as I've played it, I've never parred it.
Okay.
So maybe he did come out and do it on his first try.
Well, you got to get out there with him now. We just gotta.
We gotta have witnesses to this.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, congrats to him on his 88. Maybe I'm just jealous.
Better than what I can do.
I would have had no shot.
He also played that round in like 3 hours. I know he's by himself.
He moves fast when he golfs, like by himself, because he'll call me. He's like, "Oh yeah, I just finished 18 in 2.5 hours." I could never do that.
Damn.
So I spend longer looking for my ball than
He doesn't have knees. How does he do it?
Incredible, right? I'd rather bring up Cog number 2 is a little bit tougher. That's where we're going to be playing a week from tomorrow, actually, at the Kickoff Classic, our second annual Kickoff Classic right here. I think, have we sold out on this now?
We were close the other day. I don't think we've been told that we were sold out.
Okay. Well, I mean,
unless I missed it.
I haven't seen that either officially, but check it out on ALLCITY.com. See if it's still available and try to sign up if you can.
Yeah.
Now that's my home course, so I feel pretty good about that one. Although I am not bringing my ringers this time. So you guys.
So it's up in the air now.
Sorry, do you have a foursome?
I paid for foursome. I have not filled it yet.
Oh,
yeah.
Because we could do some recruiting because I believe I'm playing with Spencer and Mitch, and we're looking for a fourth, and it sounds like a possible winning combination.
Yeah, that does sound like a probable win.
But I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with your foursome then, though. But
yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, I mean,
throwing that out there.
As of right now, I could definitely use 3 other players.
Well, if there is still room, go check it out on our events page, allchgo.com. Would love to see you out there. We've seen some fans that practice actually shout at us and say, hey, they're coming to the golf outing. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hope to see you there. I think we got through everything.
Yeah. Well, we did get 2 super stickers, which
super stickers.
Those are another one. There's this the same one. No, this is a different one. Gritty sent a $2 super sticker here as well. And it is a bird saying cool.
I like these birds.
Cool.
These little birds.
So lots of birds on the super stickers.
Super sticker birds. Let's go.
All right, guys. We are it's been fun. Nice having a little primetime show for you here to recap joint practices. I do feel bad for Greg and the fans that we're really looking for, especially Braggs. I haven't seen him. He's probably not even watching the show because he's so sad.
Yeah, he would have been in the rain, no umbrella, no nothing, just watching and having a grin on his face, like that, and tweeting.
Like Matt Ryan.
Yes.
Shout out to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was at practice today. Of course, one of Ryan Poles' really good friends, and just stood out there with no umbrella, shorts, basically a quarter zip like I'm wearing, and just got drenched. And
Trooper.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan. Yeah, he had I looked over, I saw him, and then 10 minutes later, he was still talking to Ryan Poles over on the sidelines, former college roommates. Like, he had a good time, it looked like.
Gritty says, I was supposed to be there. I was going to bring Braggs a bag of Taco Bell to get autographed. That would be fantastic. That's great.
Next time.
All right. Well, we're out of here, and we'll be actually tomorrow. Braggs will be back with Nick, and it'll be our first preview episode of the season. They'll break down everything you need to know about Bears versus Bengals, and that's why we didn't talk a whole lot about the starters playing in this episode. We'll cover all that tomorrow, but Matt Eberflus did announce that the starters would play. Cole Kmet said it'll be about a quarter, so you got all that to look forward to. We will break it all down tomorrow. Thank you for being here on this sunny side summer Thursday. Talk to you later.
We all silly like the mayor.